Episode number 201. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We have Superman number 22 and Void Rivals number 16. Let's talk about them right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, let's jump right into Superman number 22. So Superman, this is written by Joshua Williamson. He's doing a pretty decent job. They have now captured Doomsday. He has the plant on him that makes everybody feel like they're in euphoria. I forgot it was a black something. But anyway, so they have him like a Bacta tank with this thing on it. And ever since Star Wars, everybody's got a Bacta tank, no matter what you're doing. But anyway, so now we had a Doomsday from the future, or a time traveler called a Time Trapper. He's all emaciated, running around telling people that they should listen to him. You must listen to me. I know what I'm talking about over here, you know. And everyone's like, yeah, you're Doomsday. We don't want. But I'm like rehabilitated. Anyway, he's running around like Caesar's ghost kind of thing. And meanwhile, Lois has Zod's powers right now, so she's Superwoman, which is the second Superwoman to Lana Lang's Superwoman. And then we have two Superboys, and it's just too much, man. It's just they need to cull this. And I'm kind of hoping that this whole Lois thing doesn't last more than 12 issues. But anyway, now we had another ship come over, and they were dressed, which I think was kind of a neat idea, that they're all dressed like Doomsday was dressed when he came to Earth the first time with the green and the goggles. I kind of like that idea. And from there, they said, you must give us Doomsday. You must give us Doomsday or we're going to kill everybody. And they're like, I don't know about that. We'll come see you on your ship. So we start out with them going to lunch, and which with now it's Mayor White, because Lois basically has taken over his position at the Daily Planet. And here's their ship, and Superwoman and Superman, Clark and Lois, go onto the ship to have a meeting. And he's like, welcome to my big ship. I'm not overcompensating for anything, I swear. And he's like, so are you going to give him to me or not? Well, we really want to know what you're going to do with them because you can't kill him. And there's like basically a little verbal sparring match going on throughout all this. To basically, Superman and Lois are trying to figure out what his angle is. And again, I like the artwork in here too, and I kind of like the layouts there where it's split. And he's like, well, he's like, if you're gonna hang on to him, then you can't save everybody, Superman. So you have to decide. You're gonna give them to me, or you're gonna let everybody die. You're gonna get to save a few of them. You're not gonna save everybody. Choice is yours. And he's like, listen to your queen. And then finally, Lois says, yeah, you finally gave yourself away, because he said, I'm not going to kill him, but I'm going to put him to good use. And they're like, yeah, that's just not going to happen. And that's when they decide that they're not going to do it. And he gets pissed off, going, no, ah. And when that happens, he turns into Dr. Manhattan. I don't know why they made him blue. They could have made him any other color, and he wouldn't have been Dr. Manhattan, but basically he's Dr. Manhattan. So meanwhile, Lois is like, he screams out to Supergirl, who's on the surface with Doomsday, but her super hearing, she hears it, and she says, I hear you loud and clear, we're going to have to get him out of here. Meanwhile, Lex I don't like this idea at all, has lost his memory from the whole time with Brainiac, where he was attached to Brainiac stuff, and he's having a recall there. And Mercy and him are now having the feelings. So whatever happens there, and then Dr. Manhattan shows up here, and he's not really Dr. Manhattan, but he looks very much like Dr. Manhattan. Comes in, and he's going to basically be busting Doomsday out. So he blasts through the glass, and Superman gets pissed off. Says, no! Give me a Darth Vader no. No! Okay. So meanwhile, Lois teams up with Steel, and they're like, oh no, he's loose. But then we get a team up with Superman and Doomsday. Okay. Whatever there. Meanwhile, they're trying to figure out who Superwoman is, and Silver Banshee and Jimmy are dating, and she's like, are you sure this is a good idea? And meanwhile, he blasts up at them, and she's like, no, Jimmy, you're going to get blasted in the face. No! But then time stops, and emaciated Doomsday shows up, and he's like, Lois, you must come with me. I am the ghost of Christmas past. Oh, shoot, wrong one. It's all right. And that's where it ends. And it says, a time trapper versus Superwoman. You can do what is needed to save Superman's future. Okay. So there's that. So far so good, man. I don't know. It's I like all the pieces running around. Of course, you'd have to, if you do a Superman movie with Doomsday, you'd have to do a Superman movie with Doomsday, or else this wouldn't work. But yeah, good stuff. And I don't know what, the James Gunn one, everybody is like ragging the hell out of that. So I don't know. Everybody's saying, oh, it's going to be crap. And everybody's like, just wait. And depends on what camp you're in. Oh, yeah. So before we continue, remember, too, that I am an award-winning screenwriter as well as a novelist and comic book writer. You can get my stuff on Amazon.com. So just go to Amazon and search my name out. You'll see all my different books. I have you can see some of them behind me as well. I have a sci-fi quadrilogy called Destiny Aurora that was also turned into a board game. It was turned into an RPG. It was also turned into a graphic novel and audiobook. So I'm also on Audible with the first novel. Again, there's 4 of them. I also have a fantasy novel called Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. I also, if you like more true life stuff, I have a Holocaust biography based on, obviously, a true person, or else it wouldn't be a biography. She's dead now, but I met her in Los Angeles, called The Escape from Berlin, the Diane Jacobs story. That's the name of that one. I also have a ghost story, kind of like Sixth Sense, called The Awakening. So I got a little of everything. And again, my graphic novels are on there too, including Lords of L.A. and Cats and things like that. Plus, I hooked up with, and this is just around the corner, because we're launching on Thursday the new 90th anniversary Green Hornet anthology. This is not it. This is just an example of something that the Moonstone Books has done in the past. It's going to be a hardcover, and it's going to be helmed by a bunch of writers, including Timothy Zahn, who created Thrawn for Star Wars, as well as Kevin J. Anderson, who has written some Dune books, and just a pile of guys. Bill Willingham, a cover art by Matt Wagner, just a bunch of guys. And we're going to have 6 of them, at least 6 of the writers, on our live stream. It's going to be a launch party live stream this Thursday at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. You can either hit the QR code or hit the link in the description below. There's also a link in the description below, too, for the launch of the Kickstarter for Green Hornet. We have over 350 people waiting for this to launch right now that have signed up. You might as well sign up, too, and take advantage of the early bird specials and things to that effect. And also the link to my Amazon account is down there as well. All right, let's continue into Void Rivals. So this is the Robert Kirkman book that's part of the Energon universe. Robert Kirkman is the one who's created The Walking Dead. So you might have heard of that. Anyway, this started out as an enemy mine kind of thing where you had two warring alien species that crashed land on a planet. They're both after a meteor that was water-based because they're running out of water. They both inhabit the same ring, except the ring is divided into two, so basically they can walk across to one another's kingdoms. But anyway, so they realize when they're on this planet, it's a male and a female. So Leela and Zarek, I think it is, and they realize when they take their helmets off that they're the same race and that their fathers have been lying to them because one is the princess and one is the prince. So their fathers, who are the kings, have been lying to them and keeping this whole war going. So when they return, she stabs him in the back, literally, and delivers him to her father. But then when the father asks, "Did you see him without his helmet on?" she says yes, and then now she's marked for death, even though she's the princess. So they both escape together, and then they find a transformer. Meanwhile, the transformer from like the first issue is now me. I think it's the first issue. I don't know. No, it's definitely a different person. Anyway, all the Transformers are now coming to the planet, and she realizes she's going to see Zerta, who's also a Transformer. She's trying to find her because it's like some kind of a godly thing to them. Meanwhile, he's trying to talk his father down at this point. So there's a lot of stuff going on. She went through Walkabout. He's, trying to get his father to, stop this war. And then we have just Transformers showing up. Meanwhile, you have this other guy, Zertzog, or whatever the guy's name is. And he finds these guys from Cobra Law in this ship that's organic. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be able to sell this thing for just lots of money." He's like, "Wait, are you trying to talk or something?" And of course, it's actually the Cobra Law people coming out to kill him. And he's like, "Why did you capture us?" And he's like, "Look, man, I'm just trying to raise some money here for my family. And why are you guys all being aggressive?" And he starts shooting them, and they throw snakes at him, and he shoots them, and so he ends up shooting one of the guys. And I guess if their armor dies, because the armor is organic, then they can't sustain in space. So he's dying, and they're like, "Oh my God, you killed him!" I'm like, "Well, you attacked me first." So, she scrapes him, and he's like, "You can't hurt me." Meanwhile, we've only seen this guy for like a page here and a page there since his introduction in like issue 3 or something like that. Why this guy's even been around, I don't even know. So anyway, she scrapes him, and he's like, "Oh my God, that hurt. Now I'm going to have to be mad." And they're like, "Cobra la 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 la." And they are singing their song, "Cobra la la la." I don't even know what that is, man. So he's like, "You can't hurt me with your Weasley sword," and the joke's on him. So they slash him in half, and then he bleeds out in pieces on the ground. He's like, "Oh, I guess I was wrong. Can somebody put me back together?" So meanwhile, they're mourning for their friend, and he's just like, put him out of his misery. He can't exist, and I guess they just kind of leave him there because he kind of motions a little bit. But I guess they blow him up or whatever else. Anyway, they leave. Meanwhile, so Leela finds this orb that she puts her key into, and he's like, "Why did you awaken me?" And she's like, "Well, I'm trying to find Zerta. Continue on your path, and you will find Zerta." And she's like, "Okay." She takes the key back out. Meanwhile, she has his android, and they're bantering back and forth. So now we go to the prince. And he's meeting with this other guy who is part of the resistance and knows the truth that the whole war is just a big setup. And he's like, "Well, and with you on our team, we can now, try to make some real strides in the rebellion." And sure enough, Daddy walks in and zaps them both. And he's like, "I can't believe my son is a traitor." "Daddy, I'm not a traitor. I'm just shut the hell up. You're in timeout, buddy." So now we go back to Solila, and this is the end here. and she continues on and on and on in the dark, and she bangs into something, and she's like, oh my god, ow, lucky I had my damn helmet on. So she climbs up and over, and she reaches like this precipice, and she's like, oh, I guess I have to jump again. But before she jumps, we see a transformer. It says, I am still active. Oh my god. Sorry to be standing on your chest and everything like that. But anyway. So like this, any issue in this thing, I have no idea where it's going. We got introduced to this bounty hunter. He got beat the crap out of. He's trying to put himself back together, but we haven't seen him in like an issue. He's not even in this one. So it's like they start something and then he stops it and then he continues on with something else and then we see the other characters again. The same thing with this squad guy, whatever, this viper-looking character. It's funny that you had Cobra La, which is all snakes, fighting a snake alien. But anyway, I'm glad he's dead. I was tired of seeing the guy pop up like for one page every issue. Meanwhile, you have these other guys that are like gods coming to the ring. We haven't even seen them in 2 issues. I don't know what's going on with them. But this would be, as far as I'm concerned, a really good movie. It would need to be streamlined. We're on 16 issues. He hasn't even stopped a arc yet. So it's like, how long is this arc going to continue? Is he going to go 5 years telling the same story? I don't know. And Superman, yeah, I like it. I don't like Lois being superhuman. It should have just been a Superman and Supergirl series. I would have been fine with that. I don't need Lois having superpowers. I really don't. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to go to Amazon.com and check out some of my books and graphic novels. Remember, too, that this Thursday we're going to be launching the Kickstarter for Green Hornet. Join us on the live stream at 5 o'clock PST and 8 o'clock EST. And I hope to see you there. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Remember to give me a like and a subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel will also notify you of the live stream as well. All right. Have a great night, guys. All right, bye-bye.